Verse 15, now out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should strike the nations, and he himself will rule them with a rod of iron. He himself treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. And so heaven has been cracked open. Jesus mounts his horse. The armies are singing and worshiping, and Jesus charges. What on earth does that sound like? This was prophesied in the Old Testament. Isaiah 64, 1 through 2. It says, "Oh, that you would rend the heavens, that you would tear the heavens." Jesus, oh, that you would tear the heavens. That you would come down, that the mountains might shake at your presence, as fire burns brushwood wood, as fire causes water to boil, to make your name known to your adversaries, that the nations may tremble at your presence. That's what it sounds like. There's a worship ceremony in heaven, and the mountains and the adversaries are shaking when Jesus returns. Is this the Jesus you envision when you sing? Or is it the suffering servant? Again, I don't belittle that, but I want us to have the appropriate modern day understanding of where Jesus is and how he sits and what's going to happen next. So that's what it sounds like. That the nations would tremble, that the mountains might shake. And do you know where Jesus went when he first showed up back on earth? Do you know where he's going to go? Jesse does, don't say anything. I got to draw it out for dramatic effect, right? Close. Literally close. Where would Jesus go when he comes back? Where is he going to be seen? Where is he going to show up the first time? And what is he going to do? He goes to the Mount of Olives, which is just a short walk from Jerusalem. It's known as a Sabbath day walk. You could walk there on the Sabbath and not be considered doing work. What happened at the Mount of Olives? A lot of stuff happened. What was the last thing that happened at the Mount of Olives? Jesus ascended to heaven. He just comes right back. And guess what he does? Just breaks the whole thing in half. Zechariah 14, 3 through 4 says, "Then the Lord will go forth and fight against those nations as he fights in the day of battle. And in that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, which faces Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall be split in two, from east to west, making a very large valley. Half of the mountain shall move toward the north, the other half of it toward the south." Jesus ascends off the Mount of Olives. He comes back with an army. He goes back to the mountain, and he just breaks it in half. That's gangster. No one has ever just broken a mountain in half. And he created it so it's his to break. Colossians 1:16, all things were created by him and through him and for him. That mountain was created by Jesus, for Jesus. He sees fit to crack it in half. That's fine with me. That's one heck of an entrance. I wish modern day generals would figure out a way to do that. Like, okay, Afghanistan, just break a mountain. Say, let's talk, right? That'd be epic. People might want to talk to us a little bit more if our generals could just crack mountains in half. Jesus shows up, cracks the mountain in half. That's the first thing Jesus does. Says, this is where I left earth, and now I break it in half. I'm here to stay.